What's going on, everybody? C4 here, and welcome back to the Madden 20 Ratings Prediction Series, where today we are taking a look at the Cincinnati Bengals, a team that I think are going to be a fairly popular team to take a look at rebuilding, because you pretty much have an out after the first year for your quarterback scenario, and a team that needs a quarterback is usually a top rebuild contender. So today, it's always tough for these videos in particular because we know the rating scale for Madden 20 is going to be so much more skewed than past seasons to get dead on, but we're going to try our best. So let's take a look at the quarterback room, and I give Andy Dalton an 80 overall. That could be slightly high. I was thinking about maybe making him 79, 78, but I feel like, AJ Green got hurt. If AJ Green was healthy last season, maybe his stats would have looked a little bit better. Then he got hurt and he got banged up, and his stats really weren't terrible. 2,500 passing yards, 21 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. So, I'm kind of like on Andy Dalton. The same with Derek Carr. I think both those guys are playing for their jobs this upcoming season. I think both those quarterbacks still are good enough to play in the National Football League. It's not like when you're looking at guys like, maybe Joe Flacco. I think it's a little bit, I don't want to say, he's just the tier below of those fringe starting quarterbacks. I think Dalton in the right place, the right scheme. If he could stay healthy, he can win you some football games. He can lead a team into the playoffs. I think the same can be said for Derek Carr. But I don't know, maybe that's a little bit of bias because I've been a big fan of Dalton since he's come into TCU. But I give him an 80. Looking at the running back room, Joe Mixon. I give Joe Mixon an 86 overall. Last season, almost 1,500 yards from scrimmage, 9 touchdowns. If you watched any of my draft content over this 5 years, I think it's been 5 years since I've been doing draft stuff on the channel. There's no running back. I think I want the Eagles to get more than Joe Mixon a couple years ago, and he's paying dividends, man. He's been really, really good for the Cincinnati Bengals. Off-field issues aside, we're going to give him an 86. Giovanni Bernard, still a nice utility weapon. He's a 79. I love the 2 draft picks they got at the running back spot. Rodney Anderson, who I thought debatably, outside of injury concern, was the best running back in the draft class. They got him real late. I'm giving him a 72. And then they got Travion Williams from Texas A&M. Really productive season, and we'll have him having a 70 currently. The Carter there, 68. Look at the wide receivers. AJ Green regressing. He originally from the base roster, I think, finished was like a 93, 92, somewhere in that range. We'll knock him down to a 90. Just struggled to stay healthy the last 2 seasons. 46 catches, 700 yards, 6 tutties last year. He's still really good when healthy, so we're definitely going to have him up in the 90s. In terms of pure talent, he's fringe top 5 wide receiver in the National Football League, so we still will put some respect on his name. We got Tyler Boyd, who had a very nice breakout year, kind of filling in for the injured AJ Green. 76 catches, over 1,000 yards, and 7 total touchdowns, so we'll give him an 83. John Ross needs to stay healthy, but we've seen some flashes with the Cincinnati Bengals, so we will keep him at a 75 for now. And then beyond that, there's some all right depth, some good height, weight, speed type players in Josh Malone and Cody Core. At tight end, we have Tyler Eifert, and I had whatever rosters I use as a starting, he was at 89. And I get maybe if he could stay healthy, he can reach those potentials for sure, but he just has been maybe the most injury-prone tight end in the National Football League. So we're going to have to knock him down to an 81. Some people may say that still could be a little generous, but I was nuking his stats. I don't want to just overdo it, so we'll keep him at 81 because the potential is there. His chemistry with Andy Dalton is strong. If someone that just doesn't care about the Bengals in reality, I'd like to see Eifert come back because it makes him a little bit more interesting and more competitive to watch. Zuma 78. Drew Sample, one of the surprising draft selections. He gets a 68. Offensive line, Jonah Williams in the first round. He gets a 78. I think he might have a chance to land a star dev trade as well in the upcoming game. Bowling 68, Billy Price 75, John Miller coming over from the Bills 74, and Cordy Glenn moving to right tackle as a 77. A team that had a really garbage offensive line a year ago. I think, Jonah Williams is going to make things a little bit better. You're going to hope Billy Price can take the next big step in his career. It's not a terrible offensive line. Jumping to the defense, we have Carlos Dunlap in 84 overall. Last season, 8 sacks, 8 TFLs, a bunch of pass deflections off the edge. He's still really good, even though he's getting out there in age. Jordan Willis, 77. Good depth guy. Look at the other side. Sam Hubbard had a very nice season as a rookie. We're giving him a 79 overall. 6 sacks, 9 TFLs. Carl Lawson didn't do much last year. I don't really know the story. Was he hurt? Was he banged up? But as a rookie, he had a very interesting season. So I think it's good competition. I think if you are not going to play as the Bengals, but you need a defensive end, I would look no further than Cincinnati to try to find a trade target between, however their depth chart lands, between Carl Lawson and Jordan Willis. He probably could, both those guys could be up for grabs, or at least one of them, the odd man out. D-tackle, Geno Atkins. Very, very good. Very, very consistent. I'm giving him a 92 overall. Last season, 10 sacks, 13 TFLs, which is pretty much automatic at this point. I don't think he gets nearly enough credit. I pretty much rank him like, consistently, like maybe the third best defensive tackle in the National Football League. It's Aaron Donald, it's Fletcher Cox, and I think I'd put Geno Atkins at number 3. I got Andrew Billings, 78. Renell Wren there, 68. I think he's a very interesting option. Great athletic defensive tackle from Arizona State. A little bit of a project, but it could be something there. I think by the time he starts to reach his potential, if he does, that's going to be what the time we're going to be looking for a Geno Atkins replacement. You already got him on the roster. The linebacking core has been very, very weak for the Cincinnati Bengals for a little bit. You throw in the inconsistencies of Vontaze Burfict stay on the field. They have struggled at the linebacker spot. They had Nick Vigil here. We gave him a 74 overall, 84 tackles, 5 TFLs last year. Preston Brown actually had a pretty impressive season, only featuring in 7 games, 42 tackles, 2 picks, 4 pass breakups. So he's a 78. I love the Jermaine Pratt selection. I was really hoping Pratt would fall to my Philadelphia Eagles. I thought he'd be a great fit. Even though I'm still happy that we got TJ Edwards, who I literally had ranked similarly, like a mid-round draft pick. We got him as a UDFA. All reports say he's having a strong camp for the Eagles. But I like Jermaine Pratt here for the Cincinnati Bengals. And then you just got to toss up between, Jordan Evans, who had some decent production last year, or Malik Jefferson, who came out of Texas with a lot of hype. Maybe he can reach his potential. Jumping to the secondary, William Jackson, I'm giving him an 83 overall. Statistically, wasn't amazing last season. No picks, 13 pass breakups, but I do think he is a very talented corner. I was a huge fan of him coming out of Houston. I thought he was the best corner or second best corner in that draft. So the stats don't always show. He can lock down top wide receivers. So he's an 83. We'll give Craig Kirkpatrick an 80. Inconsistent, but can play well. Denard, he's one of those guys that you think is a bust, but his stats are pretty solid. It's one of those things like he hasn't really lived up to the first round billing, but he's not really a bad player, and definitely has earned some snaps there for the Cincinnati Bengals. The safeties, Jesse Bates, one of my favorite picks last season in the draft. I think I really graded the Bengals draft fairly strong last season, and it's because Jesse Bates, I knew he was a great player, came out as a redshirt sophomore, I believe, from Wake Forest, and then he just put up 111 tackles, 3 picks, 7 pass breakups. In my IDP fantasy league, I was rolling with him as my DB for a couple weeks. He was a tackle machine. I'm giving him an 82, which is almost as high as any other player that's going to be entering their sophomore season. At strong safety, Sean Williams also had a very good year. I'm giving him an 82 overall. Last season, 110 tackles, 5 interceptions, 9 pass breakups. Got some very strong safety play here for the Cincinnati Bengals. Randy Bullock gets a 77. Kevin Huber, still the AB memes. Even though AB's not on the Steelers anymore within the division, there's always going to be the AB memes when you talk about Kevin Huber. He gets a 73. So there you go, guys. Those are my predictions for Madden 20 for the Cincinnati Bengals. Ultimately, I do predict they will be a fun team to rebuild because you only have 1 year left on Andy Dalton's contract. If it doesn't work out, then they are one of the prime teams of trying to find that next big quarterback. So I think understanding that quarterback's a big question mark, there is a lot of young talent on this roster, be it Joe Mixon, Tyler Boyd, Jesse Bates. You have Sam Hubbard, all those guys on the D, Carl Lawson. They're going to be a fun team to rebuild next season, so definitely don't sleep on the Cincinnati Bengals. But if you agree or disagree, then the ratings decide today. Let me know in the comment section below. As always, if it's your first time stopping by, don't be afraid to hit that subscribe button, smash the like button if you enjoyed. And until next time, it's C4 saying peace out.